Hey guys, what's up? Pixels here, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you how to play Hunter more effectively on Evil Dead. I spend a lot of time playing Hunter. I like to think I'm sort of like a good Hunter player. It's not really a class that I overly enjoy playing that much, but you know, when I'm playing solo queue, I've realized that, you know, not a lot of Hunters are actually doing their basic objectives or what is expected from them for the team to actually succeed in winning games. And you know, I'm just going to go over a few points and a few little tips here and there of how you can be a better Hunter player, and hopefully, you know, I see a lot more people in solo queue that have maybe watched this video and they kind of understand their roles as playing Hunter a lot more. So first things first, you might have seen a lot of build videos around Hunters on different YouTube channels. If you watch any of my builds for the Hunters, I always tell you to spec into fear levels. You know, reducing the fear as much as you can is very important playing Hunter, because not only are you a danger obviously to the bosses and, you know, the elites and the basics, like obviously you're very much a danger to the demon, but you're also a massive danger to your teammates. So if you do get possessed, and you know, dealing with your fear levels is very important, just so that you don't get possessed and obviously just two-shot your teammates, which is actually very possible. I feel really bad when I used to play Kelly first starting out this game and I had her leveled up. I used to get possessed as her and she would actually, you know, literally wipe out the entire team, which, you know, you just really don't want that to happen. So it is annoying when I'm playing solo queue. You know, I see, you know, maybe it's like an Evil Dead 2 Ash gets hold of like a really good weapon, like a legendary boomstick or something, and there doesn't even have to be that, but you know, once they get hold of that, I see them get possessed all the time, because no doubt they've probably just watched a build video on YouTube like, oh, this is you know, you can one-shot the demon boss with this build right here, and they don't actually tell you to like look after your fear levels. So actually what happens when I'm playing Hunter is, you know, I obviously have the 3 points in fear reduction on a build, and then I immediately go for 3 points at the start of the game with the pink fuck. I don't go for stamina, I don't go for ranged or anything when I'm playing Hunter straight away. I go straight for having the maximum of 50% fear reduction, so that way I'm very hard to possess with jump scares and all that good stuff. So yeah, be sure that you manage your fear levels, guys, because it's very important. So moving on to my next tip that you can have for playing Hunter more effectively is making yourself hard to kill should be a priority when choosing a build. So, you know, if you haven't watched any build videos on YouTube, I do have a few for each character in the Hunter class right now on my channel if you want to check those out. But, you know, if you're just designing your own build, that's fine. But I really think that a priority for playing Hunter should be making yourself hard to kill as much as possible. You know, that means like stacking up the health and obviously going for the stamina as well. Stamina is a bit of a funny one. You're going to have to play around with the stamina numbers a little bit just to obviously get the more effective method of, you know, dodging and stuff. But for me, I always make myself hard to kill pretty much for every class in the game. I think that's probably the most priority. I don't really think damage is that much necessary. You know, when I'm playing Hunter, I feel like my base damage is good enough. I do put a bit in, obviously, in the skill tree on range damage and balance bar range damage, but other than that, I don't really like going that strong in terms of range damage. But obviously it is an option, but what I do like to go for is at least having the 3 points in industrial strength, or, you know, like having the 3 points on tougher than hell as well. So obviously you do dodge a lot as Hunter, so you can dodge quite a lot of attacks, so it doesn't really make any sense to go sort of like, you know, tougher than hell, full tank, reinforced amulets and stuff. But I think putting 3 points into having an extended health with industrial strength is very important, especially when you get possessed. If you do find yourself getting possessed, your health drains quite a lot, because Hunters have very, very low health. So make sure that, you know, at least you have some health buffs in your skill tree, and I think it is a very more effective method of playing Hunter rather than just being a glass cannon. So okay, so moving on to my next point, and this is my most important point. Please, people, start doing this if you play Hunter, if you play Kelly, if you play Amanda, Ed, Evil Dead 2 Ash. Please just start paying attention to this. Please kill the Flautist on Necromancer. The amount of times I'm playing solo queue against Necromancer and I'm looking around and I'm seeing my Hunter just focusing on basic like Deadites so much, and they're just not even caring about going for the Flautist. Obviously, if you don't know who the Flautist is, he's the flute skeleton. He's really annoying. He does, you know, it gives the skeletons massive damage reduction, increased damage dealt. all these buffs. So it's very important if you are playing hunter that you go and hunt this down immediately, because you know leaders can get very exposed dealing with them, because when I'm playing leader and I've gone and hunting down the Flawless doing the hunter's job, the main thing that happens to me usually is I end up 1v1 with a demon outside the circle. Sure, it draws the demon away from the circle, but you know, being 1v1 with a demon as leader is not very ideal. So please, when you start, you know, playing hunter, listen out for the Flawless and go for it. You have all the stamina, you have all the obviously damage, you know, to deal with being 1v1 with a demon, because hunters are very good for 1v1 situations. So you know, you're able to get away from the demon much easier. You can much easily kill the Flawless, you know. So please be sure that you do hunt this guy down for your team if you're playing hunter. The next one is don't waste your ammo shooting possessed Elagos elites. Elagos elites have a range damage reduction of about 80% or something, so they will require quite a lot of damage. Unless you have like a really good weapon, like say a legendary boomstick or something, then you can probably, you know, shoot them in the head and do quite a lot of damage. But you know, in the average game, most people only end up with commons and blues, and a lot of the time you'll take, you know, spending a lot of ammo just to really drain this person's health bar who is possessed the Elagos elite. Normal elites, when they're not possessed, they don't really take much damage reduction, so you can go ahead and just headshot them. They'll more or less die in like 1 or 2 shots. But like I said, Elagos elites, they can stand there, they can take like a full shotgun clip sometimes, and their health will still be, you know, at like 20% left. So the main thing is with Elagos elites is to just dodge around them and attack them with melees as much as possible. Obviously they're very easy to dodge, these elites, so it's not really a viable option to just go in guns blazing on those types of units. Okay, so moving on to my next point, I suggest that you only use shotguns, hunting rifles, and revolvers. Using pistols, lever action rifles, you know, crossbows, sword guns, blunderbusses, they're kind of a bit all over the place. I think the main thing is focusing on long gun weapons, unless you're playing Amanda, in which case go for the blunderbuss, but because of her ability, it actually makes it like a sort of really good weapon to use. But the main thing that I think that people should be looking out for is boomsticks and, you know, shotguns, hunting rifles, and revolvers. Not only do they have the most damage output per shot, you can only carry like 50 rounds of a long gun ammo weapon. So, you know, having the most damage per shot is very key there, because, you know, that's obviously 50 shots. Obviously, it's RNG based. You know, if you kill one, they might drop, you know, 3 extra ammo for you, which is fine. But like I said, using shotguns is a much priority for me. I always go for a boomstick. I always go for a hunting rifle, especially hunting rifles with the headshots. They can do sometimes over 2,000 damage. It's just crazy. I've actually been over 3,000 damage at one point per headshot with Kelly. But yeah, using hunting rifles, revolvers as well. Revolvers, you can hold actually 70 rounds for a revolver, and you can do 1,000 per headshot with that as well. And not only that, you can go a bit above 1,000 as well. So, and revolvers are very easy to use too, so it's a better ammo economy for you when you're playing. So be sure to look out for those weapons primarily. Like I said, you can use the blunderbuss, but I don't recommend ever using the sword gun really, or the crossbow. But moving on anyways, learn to drop your weapon before being possessed. I know people think that this is a scummy tactic, but honestly, it's a very helpful one, especially you know, when you're getting possessed. If you're about to get possessed, throwing your weapon on the floor, be sure to tag it as well, so you don't lose it, and that way, you know, you can keep track of where your weapon is. Because I've dropped mine before and I've completely lost it. But so yeah, it's weird that demons think this is a scummy tactic, because even if they do possess you, you can still it could be in Ran, and then they'll still drain quite a lot of your health being a hunter. You know, most of the time when you get unpossessed as a hunter, they'll immediately put your health down to orange. So I don't really feel like, I don't understand why they think that it's not beneficial to possess a hunter still, even if they don't have a weapon. But, you know, that's my case for it in anyways. But anyways, if you don't want to be, you know, quote unquote scummy, then make sure you empty your clip at least, so the demon has to reload. So, you know, if your possession level's high, just say you had like a double barrel, you know, put 2 shots into like a basic or an elite or something, and, you know, just then start doing some melee combat or something like that. Until you will get possessed, and then that way, at least when the demon does possess you, you do have to obviously you will have to reload before being able to attack anyone. Another key thing to playing Hunter more effectively is pick up every ammo type you see. Not so much special weapon ammo, but picking up handgun ammo and picking up long gun ammo is very important. Sometimes I will pick up the special ammo just in case I do find like a really good like blunderbuss or something like that. But honestly, most of the time I just focus on picking up a lot of handgun ammo and a lot of long gun ammo, because that way, you know, I might find a legendary revolver in a case somewhere, you know, like a better pistol, or you know, I will find a good shotgun as well. So I always pick up as much ammo that I can find when I'm playing Hunter. You can carry so much rounds as well, and not only that, but it will help out your team. You know, if people do decide to use the saw guns and stuff, then you will have the ammo type for them there, and you can drop that out for them because you can carry as much more ammo compared to the other survivors on your team. So again, it's a really good effective tip to playing Hunter a bit better. Lumberjack axes and swords always if you want to do melee combat. So the main thing is right now, you know, Evil Dead 2 Ash can wield a chainsaw. I still don't recommend using a chainsaw because its hit detection's a bit iffy right now. The next thing that I go for sometimes is a knife, but the thing is, I think like hunters are targets for possession quite a lot. So if you do decide to pick up a knife, then you will be more than likely stun locking your team when you're getting possessed or that, which really sucks. But this is why I stick with lumberjack axes and swords. They do the most damage output and they have great hit detection as well. So you know, when you want to do melee combat, they're very weak with melee combat hunters, but primarily going for lumberjack axes and swords, I'm always still be able to do quite a lot of damage with my melee hits. So please focus on trying to pick those up as much as possible. Those are the best, probably the best two melee weapons in the game. You know, unless you find like a legendary machete or something like that you want to use. But speaking of like the average game, when you're picking up common weapons all the time, then, you know, going for a lumberjack axe and a sword is very beneficial for you and your team. Okay, so this next one's sort of like my type of playing style. When I play Hunter, you can kind of apply that to yourself if you wish, but when I'm playing Hunter, I like to keep my distance and trying to always patrol around the edge of circles rather than, you know, being in the middle of the circle and then sort of being in the middle of the fight. I always try and just stay out the way. Hunters can be quite targeted from the demon, happens quite a lot, so like I said, I always try and keep my distance. I always try and just stay out of the fight and go a bit undetected and just start picking things off from range, which is obviously it's very helpful doing that. But I won't be running around in the center all the time, and most of the time there'll be places on the objective that you can stand out sort of on the outskirts of the circles, and you can sort of just sit on a light. It won't be like a great light source, but if you sit on a light, it's always just going to be draining your fear meter a little bit at a time, which really helps out, and then you can just pick things off from a distance. So that's the type of playstyle I like to do for Hunter. I don't really like going, you know, running head on into the center of combat all the time, because that way I do find myself starting to get targeted from the demon. Not only that, but once you're getting swarmed by a bunch of deadites, you can take some hits in the back and then that'll actually drain your health quite a lot, because, you know, you're playing Hunter and then, you know, you can't perfectly dodge everything all the time, although you do have quite a lot of dodges that you can do during combat. You won't be able to perfectly dodge everything, especially with the skeletons spamming the ground slam ability and stuff, which can greatly deal damage to your health as well. So as I said, it's always best to try and just keep your distance as much as possible. Okay, so my next tip is, if a warrior is possessed, don't try and time the dodges, because they'll no doubt be able to land hits on you easy, because warriors have a base well, not a base, but they have an increased attack speed with the pink fuck upgrades by about 30%, I think. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, or 20%. It's something like that. It's quite ridiculous how fast they can actually attack with melee weapons, so it's quite impossible to time the dodges, especially when they're spamming the quick melee attacks on you. So the best thing to do is just to spam the dodges straight away as soon as they get possessed if they're going to attack you, because that way you can make quite a lot of distance, and then most of the time, if you do just put one shot into them or two shots, they'll get unpossessed after that. So that's probably another really good, effective hint that I can give everyone who plays Hunter. And for my last tip for playing Hunter is learn the dodges of each unit in the game. This one requires a lot of time to explain, sort of, and obviously it's sort of more of a feel what you'll get once you do play the game a lot more. What I could recommend to everyone is hopping into some solo versus AI and playing against the different demons, learning their attacks as well. You know, right now we're doing with the basic possession spam meta, which is quite annoying. The basics on the Warlord can actually spam like 4 attacks on you, but you can dodge them effectively as Hunter, but the problem is obviously dodging the puke as well, which does suck. So when I'm playing against, you know, the basic Warlord spam, the best thing I do is just run rather than trying to dodge sometimes, because I don't want to get puked on, and I'm trying to put as much distance between me and them as possible so I can't get puked on as easily. But yeah, that's more or less what I've got to say for learning the dodges on each unit. Like I said, hop into solo versus AI if you're not comfortable with your dodging right now, and just play against the different units. Learn when they're going to attack, how their attack animations start, when to start dodging and all that. It will make you a lot better at learning dodges. That's what I did. I was terrible at dodging on this game. I just played a couple of games against some AI bots and I started to learn my dodges more effectively that way, and I thought it really helped out for me. So this is going to conclude my how to play Hunter more effectively video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you find these tips very helpful. Like I said, the main reason I actually wanted to make this video was I was sick of playing solo queue and seeing people playing Hunter and not doing their jobs right by going to kill the Flautus. Obviously, if you're familiar playing the Hunter category or playing the Hunter role, you know, your job, you know, is to obviously kill the bosses because you do the most damage to the bosses as well. But like I said, the main thing for me right now is people aren't killing the Flautist, and it's sort of in the name itself. You know, you're a hunter, you're meant to go and hunt down these types of things that are going to help out the team. If they get left up too long, then like I said, it can be very, very painful for your team to deal with the skeletons that way. And like I said, I don't want to be playing, you know, the likes of Cheryl and Pablo, wanting to keep all my team alive in the zone. But, you know, I have to go and peel away from that just because people aren't dealing with the Flautist. And, you know, I'm seeing an Evil Dead 2 actually running around with his boomstick. Or like he's just going crazy doing some melee attacks. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, we want to win this game as much as possible. You are playing a hunter, you need to listen out for the Flautus, you go kill him, right? So this is like the main reason why I actually made this video, but I want to throw in a few more tips for that as well. But yeah, I'm going to round it off there, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that sub button if you are new to the channel. I do stream this game Monday to Thursday. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button if you like the video, if you like these tips as well. Try and apply them the best you can to your gameplay. I think it'll make you a better hunter out there as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Pixels, you're my awesome viewers. I'll catch you guys in the next one.